Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So I've been doing a little series of taking some teachings from Bashar, who is a multi-dimensional consciousness who is channeled through Darryl Anka. All right. And he's been on YouTube. And so you can look up Bashar, Bashar, if you wanted to see more on YouTube. But I'm doing this little series, and this is, I think, our last of the ones so far. I've maybe done 3 or 4 of them already, where we break down some of his teachings and then just dissect it a little bit just to kind of help it sink in. And then I asked the lead team collective to see what part of that is like helpful for us to remember, basically. All right. So let's get started. I have a little bit of an introduction, and then we're going to be going over about 4 different points of his teaching. And then again, ask the lead team collective what part of it is, again, I'm not trying to like prove or disprove anything that he's saying. It's just, just see what parts of it would be helpful for us to know, basically. Okay. All right. So Bashar explains, so this is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So Bashar, in some of his teachings, explains why mistakes aren't really mistakes. So that's one thing we'll be exploring. How identity forms, and why he says our physical personality is only a small expression of a much larger self. These ideas matter because they help you understand why life doesn't always go the way you expect. So that'll be fun to kind of explore that a little bit. Why detours can become breakthroughs, and why you're far more flexible and powerful than the identity you carry around day to day. We'll walk through these concepts Mabel, she puts this, she's funny. She says, we'll walk through these concepts in simple language, because I always tell her, like, sometimes she gives me like language. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So she just puts that, well, I'll give it to you in simple language. Like I said, we're going to ask the spirit guides, what the symbolism of all this means, basically. Okay, so Bashar teaches mistakes reveal what you couldn't see before. Okay, and I think that's a really interesting way of looking at mistakes, is you're making them so that you can see life through a different lens. So I think if the more open we are, right, to different perspectives, maybe we wouldn't make as many mistakes. So, well, I can ask the lead team. I mean, maybe that is the way to avoid making mistakes, is to stay open-minded to knowing that thought processes, your experiences, that everybody has different, there's just so many different perspectives. There's so much gray in the world. Nothing is black and white, right? I will ask, but I'm wondering if that's one way for us as humans to avoid making what we would consider mistakes, which can be awfully painful, right? And the bigger the perspective we need, the more painful the mistake is probably going to be, right? I can see that in my own life. Okay, so Bashar says unexpected outcomes show hidden information. I just love thinking of mistakes this way. Detours often become turning points in your life. So think back over your life, of the mistakes you've made. Were those detours? How much did you grow from them? I mean, so much, right? Nothing is wasted if you stay curious, is what Bashar says. Okay, just understanding this can help us reduce shame around decisions that we wish we would have handled differently. Right? So, do you need to feel shame around those mistakes? Probably not, because they are just revealing to you how to look at something differently, just something you couldn't see before, and that's okay, right? Helps you reflect instead of self-criticize, so spend some time reflecting on those. Shows you how to use every experience for growth. Okay, so we're just going to do some confirmation here. So I'll say my prayer first. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. Thank you so much for all your guidance and support of our community. We really appreciate it. So we've got some questions here regarding some of Bashar's teachings. Do you want me to call in Bashar? No? You want to answer the questions yourself? Yes? Okay. Which is interesting because I think one time I might have called in Bashar. I'm not sure. Something just popped up on my... What is popping up on my computer here? Oh, I don't know. Thought maybe my video turned off, but I guess not. All right. Okay, so you want to answer the questions directly? Okay, awesome. So Bashar says that mistakes are simply just an opportunity to reveal what we couldn't see before. Would you see it that way as well? Yes. Okay. Is it true that the more open-minded we remain, is it possible we will make less mistakes? Yes. If we approach life as everything is gray and not black and white, are we more likely to make less mistakes? Yes. Okay, nice. So Bashar says unexpected outcomes show hidden information. Is that true? Yes. Bashar says detours often become turning points. Yes. Nothing is wasted if we stay curious. I think they're going to agree with all this. Yes. Okay. But it's nice to get some confirmation. Is it important as part of our spiritual growth to feel shame around mistakes? No. Really wide swing too. Okay. Do some humans only learn through shame? Yes. But are there other paths to learning besides obviously through shame? Yes. Okay. Can unexpected outcomes reveal something a person couldn't see earlier? Yes. Do some experiences feel like mistakes because you become useful later? Yes. Is it true that nothing is wasted when someone stays open and curious? Yes. And I think that's that open mind again. I just think that's an interesting way to think about mistakes. So I like taking this little deeper dive into this. I hope this is helpful for you guys too. All right. So another one of Bashar's teachings. He says exploring wrong, in quotes, paths benefits others too. So is it really a wrong path? That's interesting. When something doesn't work for you, you map that terrain for others. Interesting. I never thought of it this way. If something doesn't work for you, you have mapped that terrain for others. So it's not a wrong turn. Wow. People learn from each other's attempts. People learn from each other's attempts. Yeah, because you share your experiences one way or another, even energetically, right? The collective grows through individual exploration. There are no wrong paths then. There are no wrong paths. Just understanding this can give us purpose to difficult seasons of our lives, right? Helps remove pressure to get it right the first time. There's no getting it right then, right? You're just exploring. You're living through your inspiration. It can remind you that your journey may support others in ways you can't see. I think that's a beautiful way to see life, is that it can support, your life can support others in ways that you can't see, right? All right. So lead team, this is just confirmation, you guys. I know these questions aren't rocket science. But if you have additional questions for Bashar or the lead team about these topics, put them in the comments, okay? Do personal struggles sometimes give a person wisdom that others can use? Yes. I mean, I was the fourth child. Well, I was this actually, I have a stepbrother and a stepsister, and I was the sixth I was the youngest of the six. Okay. And my stepbrother and stepsister have been in our lives for a very long time. I was like five, 6 or 7. So they feel, they're just full-fledged brother and sisters, right? So I'm the youngest of 6. I also have a younger sister, 16 years younger than me. But I learned so much from their experiences that they have no idea how much I've learned from them. And I didn't make certain mistakes, in quotes, because of me observing them. And that is really interesting. So, Marcia, if you're listening to this, right? I mean, so your path, whatever path you took, think of how much that influenced me in such a positive way, right? So I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. So there is no wrong path, because even if you felt it was wrong for you, maybe it was necessary for me to see it, right? So, do personal struggles, okay, we already did that one. Can someone's difficult experience help guide others later on? I think we know that, right? Because a lot of times we'll have a difficult experience and then we'll turn around and teach people how to avoid that, right? It's like, or people will share their health experience with others of how they were able to heal themselves or something like that. So, yes. Just think of, yeah, I think it's just really helpful to be thinking of our lives as much bigger than the mistakes we've made or the path we've been on and it didn't feel right. And, it's obviously much bigger than that. Does the collective benefit when one person explores a challenging path? Yes. Even what we would consider, unethical. Yes. Or as someone ends up in jail. Yes. All of those are every experience is meant for the collective to benefit in some way. Yes. Very cool. Okay. So another of Bashar's teaching is your personality is a projection from the higher self. I really have to sit with these things. Your personality is a projection from the higher self. The personality, what he says is the personality is flexible, not fixed. It is channeled, your higher self is channeled the personality into physical experience. Identity is far more fluid than people realize. So your identity is far more fluid than people realize. This can help us make change feel more natural and less frightening. It can reduce pressure to stay the same for others. And not expect others to say the same, right? And it can help us trust that growth is part of our design. That is the whole purpose, right? Okay, interesting. Okay, so lead team, can a person express different versions of themselves as they grow? Of course. Yes. And the reason I like doing these sort of more like confirmation questions is just to add to the conversation, just to give us like, oh yeah, okay, I needed to hear that. Like sometimes it seems obvious, but sometimes we just need to be reinforced, right? That message is true. Is identity influenced by something deeper than the physical personality? Yes. Is our higher self influencing our physical personality? Yes. Is our higher self helping us change that from time to time too? Yes. Okay. Does someone change more easily when they stop clinging to old definitions? Yes, for sure. And you know, it really, it's being open-minded again. The more open-minded you are, the less mistakes you're probably going to make because you're learning through that open-mindedness already. Yes, they're saying yes. You don't need to keep making mistakes to learn then if you're open-minded, right? And seeing things through a new perspective. For those of you who haven't liked what the F-45 administration's been doing, use that as a way to look at things from a different perspective, right? That is one of the greatest teachings of all times for those of us who, you know, have had some concerns, let's say, for lack of a better word, just concerns this year. Okay, finally, Bashar, another of Bashar's teaching. The real self is larger than the physical identity. So first he teaches your personality is a projection from the higher self, okay? And then the real self is larger than the physical identity. We kind of know that for those who have been hanging out in this community. So the physical self is temporary, as a reminder. The deeper self is vast, creative, and not limited by the body. So that means you are too. You, even in your personality and your identity, is more vast, more creative, and not limited. So we can enjoy those perks right now if you can tap into that. Identity operates more like a dream being dreamed. Get your head wrapped around that one. This concept can free you from rigid labels or roles, encourages expansion into a more authentic version of yourself, and can help you trust that you are connected to something much bigger. Okay, last couple questions here. So lead team, can people connect with a deeper sense of self? Is it possible for us to do that beyond the personality? Yes. Okay. Is identity designed to remain flexible throughout life? Yes. Why does it take us so long to learn that, though? So it is designed to remain flexible. Yes. Do people often underestimate how much of themselves exist beyond the physical? Yes, of course they do. Of course, we all do, right? On a day-to-day basis, which we are here to remember. That's why we're having these conversations. So, all right, you guys, I think this is interesting. I like taking these deeper dives. I hope you do too. Let me know for sure if you do like these deeper dives, because I'll continue doing them from time to time. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.